How's it going, everyone? I have to clean games because I got 2 Double Dragon games tomorrow that are not in any type of shape. In fact, they're borderline nasty. And these are games that one of them I've owned, but for quite some time I haven't done anything with it. So the other game I have not owned, and I'm actually quite concerned that that thing will not work. So we'll actually test those, and we'll see if they'll come live. So we're going to start with rubbing alcohol, the staple of any good game cabinet. And we're going to scrub them down, see how much gunk comes off. Maybe you can see it in the camera. We'll find out. So how's everyone doing tonight? Hopefully you are well. It is a new year, and we are hopefully on the tail end of all that 2020 stuff, right? And if you pop in chat, let me know you're here, and let's chat with you. So I'm going to play Double Dragon and Double Dragon 2 tomorrow, I think. Going to play till I die. If you've seen my videos before, you know that's pretty much my my weekly Saturday video. And yeah, that's kind of gross. I don't think I want to even attempt to play this game without getting the stuff off. At some point, it's going to build up, and it's not going to be playable in any of the systems. So Double Dragon is one of those beat 'em ups that if you haven't played it, I'm not sure which one's better. I'm starting to think that maybe 2 is better than 1, but it's only from videos I've seen. 1 is the one that to me is the most nostalgic because I played that definitely the most. Yeah, that's got all kinds of gunk built up on it. I actually have a Nintendo Entertainment System that I need to clean off and actually replace the innards of it. Probably because I didn't clean these as a child. Let's let that one dry a little bit, and we'll go back over it. So is this an issue that you have? Do you have to go and clean all your Nintendo games? Maybe you do. Maybe buy all your games digitally, and this is not a problem for you. Hey, Ploop. What's going on, bud? I am cleaning the utter excitement that cleaning games is. That's what I'm doing. Because these games are relics. They're ancient. So I'm doing Double Dragon 1 and I'm doing Double Dragon 2. And both of these games, I don't know if you can see it, but they are absolutely funky. I mean, it is like, can't really tell, can you? Maybe? Nah, can't really see. It's disgusting. This one I just got. So I got Double Dragon 2 on NES. And this person actually took better care of this game than I took care of my Double Dragon 1. I don't know if you ever played Double Dragon. Maybe you did. Let me know if you did. I know we got a delay in chat. Hey, I need to... I sent you a message. I want to get your Discord or send you mine, so we can plan out one of these things. That was awesome gameplay to do, by the way. That was really cool. I enjoyed watching that. All right, so this is really embarrassing. The guy who sent me this game is actually way cleaner than my 1980 something. When is this from? It's from a long time ago. When even Brew was a young guy. When was that? I don't know. Too many years ago. Like I'm mixing some music here. Yeah, why not, right? Yeah, this is yeah. So I had a sad story today. I was actually going to do a live stream, and I was going to do Genghis Khan. And it's probably one of my favorite games. It's kind of like Romance of the Three Kingdoms or Norbunga's Ambition. And the really sad story about it, it won't power on. And I have cleaned it, and I've cleaned it. And I might try and clean it again because I'm so upset that this game will not power on. I don't have anything to say about it. Other than it's not a good day. You know? So here I am cleaning 2 games that I'm actually going to hook it up. And on a live stream, I should actually be able to flip this over. And let's see how they boot up. I actually won't turn the sound on because I haven't configured any of that. But I will hook the Elgato up. And that will click in. You heard that? Maybe. And we're going to go through each one of these. Just make sure it powers up. And I will flick myself to Mini Brew up in the corner. And let's see how that works. Perfect. Don't you love it when things come together? Don't you love it when it works? I do. So as soon as that comes on, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to plug the game in. And we're going to try to see if we can get this thing working. And if not, then we're going to figure out what we can do to basically get it to work. Dude, your gameplay there was stressing me out, I'm telling you. That was that's crazy. That was getting my blood pressure up. I don't know how I even have high blood pressure, but I'm telling you, that gameplay, man, that was next level. So let me see if I can get this going. So bear with me a minute. I'm gonna get Game Capture HD up. So it's really, I should do like a video on this. It is so complex sometimes getting these old systems to behave, and I'm not sure if anyone truly appreciates what a mess it is to get it all going. So I've got a video out there how to do it, and I still to this day don't think it really does it justice. You know, let me flick back and forth here, see if we can get this thing going. Yeah, that boss thing, man, that was next level. That was. I'm glad you didn't let us down. You did not let us down, which I think is a hallmark of a good video, you know, especially when you ended it. All right, let's see how we got here. Watch this not be able to work. I'm going to try it anyway. We're going to plug this bad boy in and see if it goes. Yeah, one of my most popular videos, surprisingly, is a tutorial on how to translate Japanese Super Famicom games. You know, I did it. I was watching a guy talk about, you know, you should have some ideas with your videos. You should have some quick, people watch your videos, they dig it. They should have some medium term. They're going to get some more views because it's popular. You know, you're kind of riding a wave of, there's so many Minecraft videos. That's kind of like the ilk of that. And then these long kind of, this is going to be popular for a while, you know, how to, like you're saying. And that's what I'm really interested in. I think that's kind of in my nature, is to explain, all right, how do you get this old ass system hooked up and how do you get it working and then capture video? I mean, I did an early one on that, and then I went back and watched it, and I was like, man, I've learned so much presentation-wise and just comfort in front of the camera. You know, I think that's 90% of this. I really do. Now, my viewer count does not equal that I know what the hell I'm talking about. But, you know, I started really in earnest probably October. You know, somewhere September, October time. So I'm actually not that offended. Actually, I think, like you were talking earlier, man, it's I love the people that watch what I put out. And I think we as creators bring our tribe to us. We connect with other people, you know, that are similar ilk and similar discussions. And that's cool. I mean, I really dig that. All right, this is not coming on, but we're going to give it a minute. I'm not giving up yet. Of course, this thing isn't updating at all. So I'm using Streamlabs. I'm going to see if I can actually get this thing going. So the Elgato is up. And we're going to try this a couple more times here. Let's see if that'll work. And so far, it's misbehaving. Yeah, I love niches. I think that's kind of my thing. That's for sure. Yeah, I love your brand and what you guys are doing with that. I think that's really cool. I mean, mine is definitely. I mean, it started out. The crazy thing is, I've got probably more stuff that's collectible. I mean, actually, if I just did, I don't know if you can see me. Can you see me? Because if you can, and if not, you could go back and see it. But I have got so much collectibles. I mean, that's kind of my. That's a huge niche that I have. Is like really kind of. I don't know if it's like late '70s, '80s, '90s, mainly collectibles. That's kind of my jam, and I dig those. I mean that's kind of part of who I am. And then behind me, immediately behind me, is all of those games that are part of my childhood or part of my teenagehood or I don't know, probably part of my adulthood, to be honest. I'm not that old. And the cool thing about those games is I'm such a believer kind of off my computer, because on my computer, I mean, Steam is just the way to go. It's so much easier, right? But I'm getting the feeling that that's going to be the way that consoles are going to be pushing us to go. There's no physical media. You don't own anything anymore. And that bothers me. I don't know if it bothers me. I don't know if it's a generational thing for me, but I love the fact that I don't care if the rest of the internet goes down. I can put in Double Dragon 2 and I can just play it. I don't have to have internet. I don't need an update. Doesn't need a patch. It's as crappy as it was the day it came out. There's kind of none of that stuff. I don't know if that's the same way with everyone. I'd love to kind of understand what people think about that, because kind of philosophizing here. So sorry about that. But I love some physical cartridges. That's one of those things that you plug in a game today. And I mean, I'll take Cyberpunk. Like Cyberpunk, I think they put that out knowing that it was busted in a couple of different things. Maybe not as bad. I mean, because honestly, if you release a game like that, and I'm actually in software, if you release a game that bad, you're gonna feel the pain. You know that pain's coming. And then I think they sometimes feel a little bit better about releasing a game today, knowing that for the rest of the time you can patch it. I don't know if that's comes into their thinking, but I'm kind of thinking it does. I mean, when I go to these old games, I think they have to do a lot more QA, because you cannot fix this once this thing goes out the door. There was no internet. Once this thing went out, too bad. You got the game you got. So I can't get this thing working right now on camera. So I'm going to flick just back over so you can see more of my mug and less of this that just looks like I don't know what I'm doing. So, which is fine. Sometimes I don't. Yeah, I would love to do a game room tour. Sorry, I just got caught up with chat. Yeah, I would love to do that. I think I'm actually going to do something interesting in the next couple of weeks. Something that I have not talked about is I'm actually a collector, pretty new to collecting, but I love these things of stand-up arcades. So I actually have a Street Fighter 2 downstairs in my basement, and I've got two cabinets that are like, I mean, the proper, not like the one-up ones. I'm talking like they weigh 400 pounds. They're made out of some antique oak type thing, really heavy ones. And what I'm going to do with those is restore them. I've actually bought all the buttons. I bought all the wires, all the cables, and I'm actually in the process right now of finishing all the kind of things that are totally, just years of damage of water, people kicking it or, butting their cigarettes out on it. I mean, that was a thing back then, right? So I've actually got a 4-player arcade that I'm going to restore. And my plan is actually to put kind of all the multicade 4-player games. So Gauntlet, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know how familiar you are with these games, but I mean, if you're familiar with any of them, it's really cool, And then having a 4-player arcade, in our basement, also having Street Fighter, which is already up and working, but I've got some tweaks to it. Like it really is not, it's not a perfect machine. I need to work on one of the joysticks, and I'm thinking about doing a video kind of on that, just in general, because I don't know. I know some people, and actually some of my really close friends do this. They actually collect and restore kind of these ancient relics, right? These old machines with like CRT, machines, the old like TVs that are built in them. I mean, they weigh a ton, but restoring those, and I think that's something that is completely, that's kind of a dying art. I don't know many people that restore arcade machines, and I don't know many people that would want to restore the old ones. I mean, the other thing is you open the back, it could actually kill you. You could get shocked like really bad. Yeah, digital games definitely have exploded, and especially in your lifetime. I mean, in mine too, but there was such a buildup of games behind me that are physical media, and I think I mentioned this on, I was either a live stream or it was actually a video that I did. I felt really bad a few years ago when I got back and I'm like, all right, I need to get these. We moved in this house and when I had to get all these games out, because I wanted them out and visible. And when we did, I was like, man, I had so many more games back in the day. And I was lured in, like many people were, to selling them back to GameStop, and getting pennies on the dollar and then throwing that into a modern game that, probably wasn't as, especially now, it's not. Like the pandemic basically created a market for retro gaming, and especially some of the games. I mean, I was looking at, now that Genghis Khan doesn't work, I'm dreading it because I'm thinking that game's probably $50 to $100, and 50 is probably what I initially paid for it. Like games have been $49.99 for as long as I can remember. Now all of a sudden it's like $69.99. You got the digital edition, you got all these different, the definitive edition, the complete edition, I've got some type of toy in with it, all these different things. And back in the day, that wasn't the way it was. So, I don't know what to think. I don't know where retro games going. I actually watch a ton of retro gaming channels, and a lot of them kind of think that what I do, which is digital, is just coming. Yeah, I appreciate you digging the game room, man. This is my happy place, right? If there is a happy place, this is it. I've got something really cool that is coming pretty soon, right? So what I've actually got going on right here, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a TV and I've got a ton of different game systems there. So I actually have 8 retro game systems. I've got a Switch, and I don't talk about this a lot, but I'm gonna show it to you. Actually, it's a RetroTink device, and what I would do is I would put the 8 Switch device into the RetroTink, and the RetroTink is actually something you can upscale and get an output for HDMI, and the HDMI feed is something that I use obviously to capture the gameplay footage on the Elgato HD60S. So there's kind of this whole process. Like it's not just pop in a retro game like Double Dragon, and start playing it. There's actually like so many upchain things you got to do, and you got to make sure they're all working. And then when you get it recording, then you do what you do. You edit videos, you bring it all in. So it's definitely a process. Let me get caught up here on your messages. Sorry, I'm monologuing. Yeah, that would be cool. A complete like show off the favorite NES games and SNES. I'd love that. And JRPGs, I would say, are my specialty. I mean, those are the ones that I collect the most. Like if you look behind me, it's over here. Sorry, stage the other side. All those games right there are actually JRPGs. From Lunar, from Final Fantasy, from Suikoden, which I do the series on every day. That I need to rethink that. I'm not sure I really like that format. I will complete Suikoden 1 in the same format, but I'm looking at the way that you're doing the live stream, and I'm looking at the way that I actually really like this type of format. You know, just hop on and talk. And I'm wondering if there's kind of a format for complete playthroughs at a certain time every week, you know, for Suikoden 2 or for Final Fantasy. And I know you just said you got Final Fantasy 6, which is really cool. I think that's a game that has mass appeal. It has jobs, you know, like the skill building, which I think is really something that Final Fantasy got away from. It used to be you're a black mage and you're just a black mage, you know, and you can't really get anything beyond it. And I think Final Fantasy X also kind of blew that up differently, didn't it? I mean, that was really good. Yeah, dude, I would love to get you and I on a podcast. I've got a ton of capability to hook that up, as I'm sure you do. You know, I've got tons of whatever type of kit. You know, even if we want to do a Zoom session, want to do a Discord, or we could record it, we can co-brand it. Yeah, yeah, I love the banter. That's the one thing that I don't like about Twitch, and I don't like about kind of live streaming, is you don't have the kind of, all right, I'm monologuing, or at least I feel I'm monologuing, and then you're like, oh yeah, man, you know, I hear what you're saying. And then when you're popping it back and forth, you can only type it, you know, and then it kind of loses its punch. Even when you're gaming, I've got so many quips that are ready to come out, and they just don't pop out because I got to type them. But yeah, it's not like I'm a slow typer either. But you know, here I am, just talking. But then you're reading text, and you're having to make sure, at least you have that kind of feeling. You're like, hey, I want to make sure I'm filling the air, because if not, you're just kind of sitting there with your mouth open. You know, is some people do, and a lot of people don't like coming on video. To me, it doesn't bother me. I literally spend like 10 hours a day sitting on video, so it really doesn't bother me. Yeah, the Elgato 60. So you've tried that as well. That's really cool. Yeah, it's all about what you're doing with it and how you're hooking it up. I think it's one of the best to capture video. I know a lot of people like Generation Pixel, another, you know, another one of us, like really just solid dude. I think he actually rips his video up to like a separate channel. So he does that like playthrough. Then I believe he then downloads that, and then he edits that video from his raw channel to do something very similar, instead of using like an HD 60s. But I think he's doing kind of a lot of console gaming there too, which is really cool. Yeah, streaming with larger games, absolutely. You know, it's, I mean, I'm looking at how many hours. I don't know if you saw it, but I did a Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 4, depending if it's Japanese. I did an entire playthrough of that, and I condensed, I think, 25 or 30 hours of gaming down to two hours. I mean, and I was hitting fast forward. I was doing all kinds of video edits, and you cut out so many just of the time sinks. And like leveling, I just completely plowed through all the leveling, you know, and I took leveling off of the video, you know, which today I'm doing, you know, Suikoden every 10 minutes per day. And you can't avoid those fights in those types of videos. And if I did, I wonder how long the game actually is. You know, you wonder how much time you spend in that type of sync. And by the way, I appreciate you hopping in here and diving into chat. You know, it's one of the things that you've commented on too. It's nice to have someone that you can chat with, you know, even if it's kind of a one-sided conversation with, you know, with the text. And the second person watching, I'm hoping can chat, but there are a few people that watch my channel, my daughter included, that can't chat because of her age, but she actually watches it. So I appreciate if that's who it is as well. Man, I would love to get some in tonight. I'm actually more open tomorrow. I promised everyone I'd just do a 30-minute tonight, but tomorrow I would love to do that. I would love to actually get my Double Dragon video out of the way in the morning, get that published, and I would love to hop on and monologue with you on whatever topic, especially gaming, man, because that's super cool. So I'm getting caught up here. I'm still not sure what causes BSODS with Elgato. It scared me to try again. Wow, what is that? I've never actually had a problem with it. One of the issues, actually, I do have a problem occasionally with it because it has this weird method of kind of taking over all your sound. And you can hear me now, but there's actually a few things that it does where I've plugged it in and it's completely taken away every bit of in and out on my computer. So I couldn't hear anyone talking. I couldn't hear any of my own recordings. And then you unplug it and it's such a mess. Yeah, that actually, we just put there. I appreciate that. I mean, that really is what you see is what you get on my channel. I'm chill like this normally. I usually swear considerably more, except I'm trying not to do that on video. I'm actually trying to change, not change who I am. This isn't like some, type of self-help video, but I use all kinds of horrible words as commas and semicolons. And, one of the things I'm trying to do is actually in these types of videos, it's just to get past that and actually keep it a little cleaner than I normally do, in my day to day. Blue screen to death. Got you. So one thing that I would recommend on the blue screen to death is if you do not have a USB 3.0 port, that could be the problem. I've read a lot about the Elgato, especially not the card version, but actually the USB version like what I have, which is I'm assuming what you have to. And if not, you have the internal, then maybe that's completely not the right thing. But yeah, if you plug it into a USB 2, or if you have a USB 1, even worse, it's not quick enough to keep up with the buffering. And if you plug it in, make sure it's a USB 3. And if it is a USB 3, then it's able to keep up with the buffering. You don't have a buffer overflow type problem, which completely nukes your computer. So that helps. And actually, I was having an initial problem with it, plugging it into the USB 2 port, because all of my videos were really choppy. It never actually crashed, but it was to the point where it was just an absolute disaster every time I was recording. You just had this kind of like lag, and the video would record, and then ultimately it was frustrating because I could be 30 minutes into a video doing all this recording, and then the editing of it, I find out that 30 minutes is basically trash, and then I have saved a game and I've completely saved over it, and what a train wreck that was. Because then how do you go back when you're 22 hours into a game and try to figure it out? Cool. Thursdays and Saturdays. Nice. Yeah. Saturdays is kind of my dedicated day for doing these types of videos. I love them. HD 60 Bitfender third-party firewall. Nice. Yeah. You may have already had it in the 3.0, and then if that doesn't work, wow. I think, as you were joking, the whole Geek Squad thing. Yeah, don't do that. But maybe good. I don't know. Maybe you work for Geek Squad. I don't want to insult Geek Squad. I started out many moons ago doing tech support for an internet provider in Western North Carolina, which is where I live. And it was early days of the internet, and people would come in and literally bring you a floppy disk, and they'd say, "Can you put the internet on this?" And I have a lot of respect for people that do frontline tech support. I've done it for so many years of my life, and I don't do it now. I do nothing like that. But PC support and just these types of things, my God, it's such a painful world for people to do. You're basically at complete mercy of someone's knowledge on a computer, and you're trying to help them with it. I feel like I'm that car talk guy that's up here, talking about, tell me what your computer sounds like, giving some advice for that. I don't know if you've heard that, but that's actually a thing. So, we're talking about Final Fantasy earlier. One of the cool things about Final Fantasy that I'm an absolute nut for is the Super Famicom versions of it. And one of the things when I plugged this in and actually took a look at Final Fantasy IV instead of this is actually Final Fantasy II. But it's Final Fantasy IV in Japan. And the version that they have on there is so different than the North American version. That was my live video that I did talking about, the different attacks that are there that weren't in the original game. And then at a certain point in the Final Fantasy II, they actually have the attack. They have the attack that shows up. It's called Dark Wave. And the crazy thing is, during the entire game, building up into that point, you can't even use that attack. And then what you find out is the Japanese version has that attack the entire game. So it's almost like we've missed out, at least I have since the time when I first started playing it, like in the early 90s. There was this cool attack that did an area of effect that I could have used the entire time and played, but I didn't speak Japanese. So, there's that. Pretty big issue if I don't speak Japanese. Yeah. Yeah, Geek Squad is crazy price, man. Yeah, I know a lot of people that use it just because they've never really been able to do that type of thing. And I mean, good for them if they can charge that and people want to pay it. But I've always been somebody to try to figure it out myself, see what I'm able to do, which is cool. Yeah, I would say, I don't know what time zone you're in, but I'm in Eastern. So usually after like 12 lunch, I'm probably going to be wide open. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I would love to hear your opinion, especially on Final Fantasy and stuff like that. You just want to do a live stream? Is that cool with you? I actually need to go back and check out the one you did with Backpack. Because if it's something that you can do in Discord and then just stream that, or, how'd you do it? I'll give you a second there because I know it's a bit of a delay on that. I'm telling you, Genghis Khan not working. That hurts the soul. It really does. This was a game that I really wanted to pop in and play. And the problem with when it doesn't work, you can open up the back. I don't know if you knew that, but you can actually get two different wrenches, or I'm trying to see where I keep going the wrong way. I should know that better. But those three screws right there, actually, you can take them out and you can get in there. And then one of the things you can do is, for one, you can stare at it and go, all right, I have no idea what I'm doing. But sometimes you can see like a little solder has just come loose and you can actually reconnect it and fix the whole thing. In some of these games, it's just the battery that's gone. You can just replace the battery. So I use the Retron 5, and the Retron 5 typically can fix that. So the one thing with the Retron 5 that's really good is it doesn't matter if you have a save spot on there anymore. You can just save the game, and you don't have to worry about it because it actually has built-in saves. And it saves to an SD card. So you can actually... This is really trippy. Like this like blew my mind. I don't know if it's going to blow yours like it did mine, but I had the original Final Fantasy II, which I think is back on the shelf now. And when I plugged it in, I had a saved game from 1992 or 1993. And I was able to port that whole thing over to an SD card when I plugged it in the Retron 5. So it actually allows you to save down your old save. So you never can lose a save. You can actually then pop it up, to the cloud, save it up there. And then from then on, you're going to have that save. You're going to have that from then on. And that was really, that was nostalgic and important to me. I said, you know what? If I can actually keep that save for the rest of the time, that's important. So I was able to download my Final Fantasy II save, and I was able to pop it up into the cloud so I wouldn't lose it. And actually my biggest fear was I was going to lose the battery on it, and then that game where I hit like 99 on every character was going to be deleted. And then when I thought, well, if I can save it, can I then put it back on the cartridge? And then the answer is yes. You can actually, with the Retron 5, pop that save game up to the cloud, onto your SD card, either one. And then you can replace the battery, get the save working, and you can then save that back on that cartridge, from there. So these are some things like with Retron Retron 5 and retro gaming in general, I never would have thought could have been possible. So here I am getting all nostalgic in monologue. And there's a guy that I've been watching on YouTube as well called the Retro Ghetto. He's a guy out of somewhere in England, I think around Leicester, kind of greater Leicester, East Midlands area. And he started talking about that. What was his exact thing? I think he said nostalgia is a hell of a drug, and it really is. Maybe when you're a little younger, it's not. But I think as the older you get, the more these types of games become way more nostalgic. So let me get caught up here. So on Discord, the video isn't up yet. This one is edited. Ah, cool. So you're actually like recording it, and then you're doing some edits of it, downloading it, and then uploading the whole thing on YouTube. Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, if you want to do, you and I doing a video tomorrow, we can basically get it going. I can help with the editing. I've got tons of editing capability. So if you need anything like that, that'd be totally cool. Or I notice you're good. If you're the one doing the graphics on your page, man, that's really cool. I might need to figure out a trade with you on that one because you're really good at it. And I'm actually thinking of ditching my actual image and changing that. There's like a lot I'm thinking about, making it more mass appeal, and kind of removing the beer from the front. It's not part of my show. Probably coffee would be more of my show because by the time I'm doing these videos, it's definitely more coffee time. So I'm thinking of actually removing that beer and kind of doing more of the beanie rather than my slap head that I got, and then getting like a coffee and rocking something like that. That's what I'm thinking of doing. So I keep seeing people go like up to 3 in here that are watching. If you're watching, I appreciate it. If you're not commenting, you should. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you who you are, and if you are unable to say something because you're not at a certain age and can't actually post, that's cool too. Hopefully you're listening to what we're saying. Having mostly a chat with Ploopa Choop here. Awesome channel. If you haven't seen that, you should check it out. You should do a search for it. Really enjoy watching all the videos, and actually even on Facebook. So it's not just on YouTube. There's like so many different ways that we can pop these channels up. One also really cool thing is I used to do something on Twitch, and I've gone away from that because to me this is just as good, if not better, because I don't feel like I'm sitting here living on, living for tips. I really don't care about that. I mean, at some point, yeah, it'd be nice if people just threw money at you, right? If somebody found your channel and like some Mr. Beast thing where he drops 30 grand on you. Great. Good for that. He's actually here in NC as well, which that's pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't actually realize he was from here. Dude, self-taught in Photoshop, I'm telling you, you do some crazy stuff on there. I mean, I can do some really basic stuff. But yeah, what you're cranking out, self-taught is just as good as, you took classes for it. Yeah, moving those assets around and actually just setting up that kind of the 3 images that you have of the Ploopa Choop cast. I love that. Yeah, I sat and watched that a couple of times. I'm like, man, that is, to me, that's soothing. Watching videos where people are able to just completely manipulate any type of image like that. And that's really cool. Gamer Stranded, hey, what's going on, man? You're another channel that I am a huge fan of. So we got Ploopa Choop in here, and also Gamer Stranded. Really appreciate you showing up. So Gamer Stranded, I don't know how much you caught, but we're talking about cleaning games. So I'm actually doing my prep on the games. I typically do this the night before, and I thought, hey, why not make this a live video and talk about cleaning up Double Dragon and also Double Dragon 2. Got that going. I had a moment of dread because my Genghis Khan video is not possible to live stream. I was actually going to do that, and then I changed it up because it just doesn't work. So this cartridge is completely DOA. I actually need to get into it and see what I can do. And then we've also been talking about Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy Super Famicom. And I believe I am going to do some collaboration here with Ploopa Choop tomorrow and see if we can get some of him and I bantering on Final Fantasy in general. It's another one, Gamer Strand, I'd love to do with you. I think the world of your channel. You know that. I've actually given you a shout out one of the previous ones, and really dig what you crank out every week. Cool. So 1 o'clock, perfect. Actually, 1 o'clock's really good because that'll be. I usually do my videos in the morning. I get up early, usually 6, 7. I crank through all of that. I'll have it up, and I'll definitely be probably to about 4. I'm probably good to about 4. You know, in that line. So yeah, I would love to do one of these types of videos talking about Final Fantasy for sure. That'd be cool. Yeah, Gamer Stranded, man. Your VR thing. I have not been into VR. I have not, and you got me there. The next bit of spare money that comes in my wallet, I may be leaning that direction. And I actually have my birthday coming up. That I don't know if you saw that video. I keep using the wrong hand. It's up here. Yeah, I got Baby Yoda, Grogu, whatever you're gonna call it, for that one from the Sideshow company. Love it. I mean, it's just incredible. Trying to do a bit of a balance here. I know I've cut out kind of all of my, other than retro gaming, that's all I'm doing. But I might actually start adding in some of this for live because I think it's interesting to talk about. Now, you know what? Ploopa Troop, I definitely am going to do, as you recommend, I'd love to do a kind of a game tour. And I think I am going to incorporate my my upright arcade machines in that. I think that's going to be a video by itself, is kind of how to bring back these old machines from the dead. I've actually got a kind of a computer board from one of these games down the bottom, and it's actually what was it from? Street Fighter 1, which is a game that it's not that great, but it's the genesis of a lot of modern fighting games. And I have Street Fighter 2 working practically fantastic downstairs, but I'm restoring one that I actually bought from a friend of mine for Street Fighter 1. And I said the other one is going to be the 4-player Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle / Gauntlet / really everything that I can pop into a machine, which is going to be good. Looking at any headsets yet? I have not looked at any yet, to be honest. I'm a little bit torn on where I want to go with that. What's your recommendation? I know you're way more in that space than I am. It'd be good to hear your opinion on that. There's so many of these things that I so do not understand, and I want to understand them. But one of the things that I'm really able to do is talk about retro gaming, But I don't just play retro games. We actually have, as I've mentioned on one of the things, Xbox Series, not Series X, but 1X, and actually PS4. I haven't taken the leap yet. I know Generation Pixel's already done that, and I'm impressed because if you can get your hands on a PS5, good for you. And Series X, that's even cooler. I've seen a lot of the videos that he's been doing on that, and that's always interesting. Yeah, that's a great one, Ploopa Troop, which is really, doing some deep dives is really what my Saturday videos have been about. But I'm wanting to add a bit more kind of meat to the videos of what I'm doing. I feel like I don't know if I'm falling in the trap of doing kind of the same crap everyone else does. I love Steve's videos. Steve, your video, Gamer Stranded, man. When you do them, I don't think I've seen anyone do like, hey, these two videos head to head. I mean, that's kind of maybe a thing, but if I'm going to be stranded on a desert island, which one am I going to take? I'd be terrified to have to make that decision with certain games that you've talked about. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's Oculus or I don't know if I really want standalone. This is like a whole thing that I really do not understand. I'm sitting here thinking about the experience. I think what I want. Let me put it that way. Let me put it in some different terms. I want something that is as realistic an experience. I don't know if I want like the Ready Player One, type effect where I'm running on a pad and a multi-directional thing. By the way, if you haven't gotten into that, you should. You both are probably like, oh yeah, Brew. I know. I've read that. I've seen the movie. The book is better. I mean, that's kind of one of those things. But I almost am fearful of a world where we're that locked in. I'd love to step out, but I want kind of the experience, right? I want the high dollar experience for VR. And I'm not sure which one does that. You know, I know a lot of people were talking about the PlayStation, you know, was out kind of with the most affordable one for a while. But I've also heard that that one is one of the more dated versions now, you know, of systems. Yeah, the book's way better. Oh man, it's so much better. You know, it's I don't I need to actually. That's a whole other thing. I could break out Dungeons and Dragons original stuff. Valve Index. Okay. I've got some studying to do. I feel like I'm behind the curve. I don't like being behind the curve. Usually, I'm a little bit more ahead of the curve. You know, and with this type of thing, I feel like I'm way behind. So I've got to figure that out. But yeah, the one you did with, you know, the two Wolverine claws like going in the guy, and I'm like, man, that is crazy. And even the haptic, you know, pulling the trigger type thing. Yeah, that was crazy. So the PSVR is dated but still fun. Yeah, what was the one that you played, that kind of like Resident Evil type game on? I even forgot the name. Sorry, it's my brain's kind of fried on a Friday night. Whatever that game was I need to go back and watch it. Yeah, that looked intense. You know, I think that was something definitely worth taking a look at. All right, everyone, I got to check the time. I'm gonna head downstairs in a minute. Got some kids to tuck in. Oh yeah, it's 9:11. Horrible time. Let me wait till it's like 9:12. I can't sign off on 9:11. That doesn't sound right. Doesn't feel right. Half-Life Alyx. That's it. Or is it Alex? I'm gonna mispronounce it. My apologies. Yeah, that's got to be one I got to check out. That's killer. I mean, that was really fun to watch. All right, everyone. Let me bounce for tonight. I'm gonna be looking for your new videos, especially Gamer Strand. You got two legendary ones that you teed up. I'm gonna be looking forward to that. Blooper Troop, gonna be checking you out tomorrow, probably about 1 my time. And if you have a Discord, I will check it out. You said it was in one of your videos. If not, we'll figure it out. You know, I'll be online. And you can check my about. I've actually got my email on there. I think it's brewunited.tv@gmail.com. I don't even think the dot is relevant. I just put it in there because I actually registered that domain in hopes. You know, you never know. Let's see how it goes. But anyway, good chatting with you. Hope you guys are doing well, and we'll chat tomorrow.